Hey, welcome everybody
Hello.
to episode 15
Welcome.
of the show. And I quickly
It's
get my
that
speakers.
favorite time of the week again.
I almost stuffed that one up for us.
What? It's payday.
Payday? What?
No,
Where?
it's time for side note.
Oh,
Woo!
I mean, I.
All right. So before we get started today, quick shout out to our fam and that over in New York. Our blessings and prayers are with you guys in this time. Such a terrible thing to happen over the weekend in New York City. So hopefully you guys recover and move on from that situation there. So please accept our condolences to those who have been affected in that situation. As always, guys, the socials are in the chat there. The Discord, if you want to come and be on the show, you got ideas you'd like us to touch on, please join the Discord. Obviously, hit the follow button on Glimesh, where you'll see us live every Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Follow us on the Twitter, keep up with what's going on away from the show, and also the YouTube. If you miss an episode, catch us back on YouTube, which we just achieved 50 hours of watch time this week. So you guys are awesome. Keep doing the amazing things and enjoying the content over on the YouTube.
But and I must say, 50 hours is a pretty decent achievement considering, you know,
we've only been going for what?
How many episodes are actually there, and how many
15?
have actually been watched. So it's a crazy achievement, but onwards and upwards.
And it wouldn't be possible without viewers like you.
That's it. Next, the goal is to get that custom tag at the end. So 100 subscribers. That's ultimately where we want to end up. Whatever happens after that, whatever. But we want that name, man.
So make sure you hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you nothing. It's free $99. Doesn't cost you. Go and hit it. Anyway, with all that out of the way, let's get into this week's news and wow. It's been good.
It's unfortunately there's so much that we can't talk about yet because we're planning it for future episodes. But I mean, there's still some crazy stuff going on at the moment. So the rumor mill is ripe with a new report that Microsoft plans to release an Xbox streaming device for the Xbox Cloud Gaming service. We have touched on that previously about a rumor of
new hardware,
supposed hardware that has never been seen before coming to Xbox
from Microsoft direction.
Yeah. So a publicist claims that Microsoft will introduce an Xbox Cloud Gaming streaming device in the next 12 months. The device will resemble the Amazon Fire Stick and will let customers stream Xbox Cloud Gaming titles to a TV or other display. The service will naturally require Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. The publicist also notes that Microsoft is working with Samsung to add Xbox Cloud Gaming capability to Samsung's recent smart TVs. I mean,
that could be a big step. Putting Game Pass on the TV straight away, that'd be interesting.
If they put this little device at a price point that's lower than the Xbox One S, I will probably try to pre-order it if I can. Because that, because having tried some more cloud gaming, like it works great on my PC, and I feel like having that little console I can just plug into my TV and just play games without having to worry about download times or anything like that, and just play Game Pass. Like I think. But more
to the point is, they just said they're going to try and get it onto Samsung smart TV, so it's already going to be inbuilt. So you won't have that plug-in; it'll just be there. Like
essentially, you would have to buy a Samsung new TV, though.
You would have to do that, yes.
Right?
But
I don't have a Samsung TV, so I'd have to buy a new TV. So I'd rather just buy the little stick.
I mean, I do, but mine is extremely old and doesn't get updated anymore. So found out a lot.
But I mean, that's still a big step in the future of gaming, isn't it?
Oh, for sure.
But I mean, the rumor of an Amazon Fire Stick, so basically just a USB stick,
USB dongle,
TV.
Yeah,
that rumor's been around for some time, but it's now starting to make the rounds again.
Yeah, it's starting to gain traction a lot more. Yeah,
that along with the information that Xbox will be releasing new hardware that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, and it's not a fridge.
I mean,
no, it's a freezer. I told you last week. It was
right.
Yeah. So, I mean that USB stick, like let's say $100, right?
Yeah.
And it might come with 1 month of, Game Pass Ultimate or something along with it. Like that's
imagine
if I
bet they sell it in a bundle with a controller as well, though.
Oh, that could. Yeah, they could actually.
But the USB dongle, you would obviously be able to sync your Xbox controller up with the dongle itself.
But if you're someone like me that doesn't have an Xbox, and I go out and buy this, I'll need a controller with it.
Right.
So I could see like a bundle.
Yeah.
So
they did do that though.
Because it would be just like
do that with the controller for the PC, didn't they? They did the wireless dongle. So it wouldn't be hard for them to modify that dongle for the PC version of the controller.
Yeah, and I think that would make it like, especially if this was targeted to come out like holiday season, I think that would make it like perfect Christmas gift.
All right.
If you could just buy someone like, here's like a cloud gaming plus a controller, go have at it, go play your favorite Xbox game.
There wouldn't be much. Cool. There wouldn't be much to that dongle. Like hardware wise, there wouldn't be much in there.
No,
like, it would basically be like the USB dongle for connecting your wireless controller to your PC.
PC. Yeah, exactly.
So there'd be that hardware.
It would just have to have the portable Xbox GUI. So.
Well, that's it. It would just have the software to run.
Yeah.
Which you could pretty much incorporate that onto an SSD. You're talking the size of an SSD, which is minimal.
Yeah. So
you could potentially have
but it's something that's half of it's already in production. You've only just got to add a little bit more, maybe a bit of software on top of that. So I'm thinking like cost wise, it's not going to be that much dearer than say getting the box that has the controller and the dongle.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. So here's the thing. I know for a fact you can still do. You can go to like EV Games, GameStop, all those places, Walmart and things like that, and pick up Xbox Live Gold membership, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in theory, what you could do, especially for say Yakes, he could go to Walmart, pick up 3 years of Xbox Live Gold, come home, redeem them, stack them onto his Xbox account, convert it to Xbox Game Pass, and then have the dongle, and he could be playing it on TV. Imagine kick back, laying on your bed. You just kicking back, playing games on your TV in the rain.
Just playing games.
And you don't have to worry about the subscription because you've already got it covered.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, because it is a subscription. Like the cost factor on that, on the hardware, is going to be very minimal. Because they're making their money from the subscription.
Yes.
Yeah. That's right. So you think about the cost of the controller, it'd be what? I mean, what is it for us? Like $79.99 a controller. So they go $100 Australian. Dude, like who's not going to buy that, especially around Christmas time?
I think over here the controller and USB dongle is $100. So let's blow it up a little bit. Let's say it's $120, $130, right? Over here.
That's cheap to get into the Xbox family, isn't it?
And even if you priced it like, because right now the Series S retails for, I think it's $299 here in the US. So like, if you sold it at like $150, that's half the price of the Series S, which then puts it in that price point that makes it affordable. Like,
and you could
it just makes it there
on any TV or monitor that has USB input.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
it's a good way to get them into the Xbox family to show them the games.
Yeah. I mean, I could do that on my
because
TV.
then people go, I want to get the actual console now. So it pushes them down to the line of getting a console now, because then you get the party apps. You get, you get to do all that kind of stuff a little bit freer rather than trying to run multiple things. So I mean, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
No, they just have to find the right price point for it. And I really think if they target somewhere between that $100 to $150 and also include a controller with it, I think you've got a great holiday product, and it's going to sell like hotcakes. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I mean, but
I think
it's not going to be
fall under $100 US.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not going to be like the plug-in SSDs for the new
No.
Xbox Series consoles. I mean, that's
No.
proprietary hardware, right? We're talking
Mhm.
about
Right.
hardware that already exists. So, yeah, cost is not going to be a big thing. But yeah, I reckon, prior to Christmas. I mean, they could even announce it at the showcase.
Yeah,
They
the
could.
Xbox convention.
At the Xbox Bethesda showcase next month.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
they could announce that and be like, this is coming this holiday. And everyone's going to lose their fucking mind.
If they announce it, I guarantee you, without a word of a lie, Xbox will blow up in the next 3 months.
Oh,
If they announce that, people are going to be
for
getting their
sure.
accounts. They're going to be adding, like I
Yeah.
said, you're going to go and buy 3 years worth of Xbox Live Gold for
Mhm.
$120 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Coming home, you're going to load that onto your Xbox profile. You're going to convert that straight to Game Pass. That's 3 years of Game Pass Ultimate.
Mhm.
Away you go.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
The console war is dead.
Oh,
As
it's
soon
finished.
as that
It
comes
was
out,
dead
it's
3 years
done.
ago.
Yeah, but that's like, it's done, buried.
the only
it's all
question,
over. There
though-
is no console in play.
The only question is Sony in any position to do something similar to their
No.
system?
Honest answer?
I don't
No.
think they are.
Not
I
a
They
don't
don't
think
even
they are.
have cloud gaming tech. Every single Sony game you have to buy has to be installed and downloaded and updated. They're just way behind when it comes to that type of tech. They have to
I mean,
not
yeah.
only be willing to support cloud gaming tech,
But
then
aren't they saying with
develop
the new
console.
tiers they're getting cloud support in there? Wasn't that part of the new tier system?
yeah,
I think
but
that's what
it
they're
was-
working on, but
it wasn't. It's not like cloud gaming. It's
No,
more
it's more
like,
of like a cloud storage, isn't it?
yeah, it's like you get access to this virtual library of games kind of thing.
yeah,
That's
it's
right,
not
yeah.
quite the same as like
I mean,
with Xbox Cloud Gaming. I can like literally take like a new game and just play it like instantly, and it just streams the game to me. I think this one is sort of like you still have to download something and like establish that connection. It's not like fully cloud
so there's
gaming, and I
no-
think it's
Yeah.
only for like older games as well. It's not for your like God of Wars and things like that.
yeah,
Interesting.
like the games that don't require a lot of grunt.
Yeah.
behind. Yeah, the
Yeah.
easier to stream games. Yeah,
Yeah, like your
But then
PS1.
the question would be then, if this does come from Xbox and a lot of your PlayStation fanboys actually get a hold of it, like yikes! I'm not saying you're a fanboy, but you're very PlayStation heavy. Like
Yes.
you've obviously dabbled with the cloud gaming.
Mhm.
Would this actually pull you away from PlayStation as such?
I mean, I think it already has for the most part. I mean, the only thing I use my PlayStation for right now is Rock Band. When I play Rock Band, I play Gran Turismo 7 on it, and I play Crash and Spyro Remaster because it just felt right to buy those for the PlayStation. Like, I have
which is
no plans
available
right
on
now
every
to
other
buy
console, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I have no plans right now to buy a PlayStation 5, and I've owned every other Sony PlayStation console. And
Yeah, right.
you know, I've been pulled in, I've been suckered in by the Game Pass meta that now I'm over here. I like for a while I was actually thinking of buying an Xbox console for the first time in my life.
Yeah.
And I haven't gone that way yet, but it's been like when it comes to the next gen consoles, like I'm severely thinking about buying the Xbox over the PlayStation. And it's almost entirely because of Game Pass and what Game Pass provides, and just how smooth cloud gaming has been. Like it's a great service, it's a great feature, and if Sony doesn't make the steps to embrace what Microsoft has done with cloud gaming, they're just going to fall behind. I mean, they're already behind, but it's going to get worse.
They are already behind. I mean, you look at you look at tech like VRR, your variable refresh rates. Yeah, Xbox had that day one, like that almost day one. That was a huge thing on Xbox's part, but only just now is PlayStation doing it.
Yeah,
we're over how long? 12 months. Like look at 18 months.
18 months.
18 months, right, since
On the series,
PlayStation 5 launched. and they're only just now getting a very heavily requested feature that Xbox has already had.
Yeah.
So you can see they're trying to play catch up. They're implementing things that Xbox has had in place for a long time.
But here's the problem with that, though, is they're going to catch themselves very behind because Xbox have already had these in the plans for months. Then they release it, and Sony goes, oh shit, we got to get on that. It's going to take us 18 months to develop it. By then, they've already lost that market.
And Sony has a track record of this, of not necessarily being the ones to innovate the gaming space, but just say, hey, that's a good idea. Let's do that as well.
Yeah. They're the Fortnite of consoles. Like, hey, that's a good part. Let's add that to Fortnite. Oh, look.
So it wouldn't surprise me at all if Xbox launches this like the USB thing we're talking about with full cloud gaming and they put all this support into cloud gaming, and suddenly like Game Pass is like the most profitable thing in gaming, and Sony's like, well, what do we do now? And then,
I mean, it's already there.
Suddenly, oh look, PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Premium members can now cloud game your favorite games like Spider-Man and God of War.
But I guarantee they'll restrict it to the highest tier. If they
of course, naturally it will be on the highest. Well, I mean, Xbox does that as well. Like you have to have Ultimate to get cloud gaming. So
yeah,
it would make sense.
Like I said. If you're smart about it, if you are new to the Xbox family, you go and get, like I said, Xbox Live Gold, stack it on your account, then convert it to Ultimate. You 2 or 3 years, you never have to worry about it.
Right. Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So all in all, I think it's a good thing for gaming. Honestly,
you don't have a clunky console to worry about.
You don't have to worry about putting a fridge on your desk.
Yeah, I mean, I'm look. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy with the fridge on my desk, but
until you drop it on the floor.
Until I did drop it on the floor.
Yeah, don't look at me like that.
But anyway, but Xbox has always been. I mean, they've got the smarts when it comes to hardware and software. Like they're just there. They've always been like
Nintendo
at the
as well.
forefront of all that. Yeah, but Nintendo's running their own race.
Nintendo's in different technology. So.
And they're not in the same.
Xbox and PlayStation running along the track, pushing each other to the side, and Nintendo's just having a nice little stroll in the park. Like, I mean, they don't care.
In the console warfront, you never see the fanboys going, Nintendo with an Xbox and PlayStation fight going on in chat. Like, you just don't see it. So,
but I mean,
Nintendo, they're in their own market. They're in the same game.
And look at the Nintendo consoles over the years, though. Like, you can't argue that Nintendo has not been very forefront in innovating and trying different technologies with their different consoles along the way. And they're very good at that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And like, I saw a tweet recently about, Xbox players. Xbox players talk about Xbox, and PlayStation players also talk about Xbox. So, and no one's talking about
all
PlayStation.
Players are talking Xbox.
Yeah. So, well, there's a reason for that. They're trying to. You got the Xbox. People just loving Xbox, and it's like, what's PlayStation? Like, they sort of look at it and be like, I don't get it. And then you got the PlayStation people trying to rip on Xbox, but in that same time, they're talking about Xbox, so they're giving it more hype. Like,
they're building they're building hype around this shit.
But they're not talking about their own PlayStation. Yeah, but they're not talking about their own platform. Like,
exactly. Let's just watch that space. Let's watch the Xbox convention and see what happens there, because that's going to be that's going to be very good. I wonder if we can actually stream that.
I don't know.
I wonder if we can actually stream that, because that'd be really cool to just chuck up on the channel if that's on and we're not on. That'd be really cool to just have on.
That would be.
I know we can do it with E3, but I'm not sure with the Xbox one. They might have some sort of clause in there.
That'd be interesting.
We'll look into it. I mean, we'll definitely look into it, because I'd definitely say it'll fall on a weekend.
I reckon that next showcase there's going to be bombshell after bombshell after bombshell.
Xbox has been pretty quiet on that front for a while.
Yeah, I'm predicting
it is their year to come and drop some big hammers down.
Yeah. But moving on, Next generation AMD Ryzen processors seem to be ramping things up. The brand new mobile processors have been touted to have the power of an RTX 3060M at only 35 to 45 watts. That's pretty big.
Wow.
Pretty big
Holy
considering
shit.
the RTX
That's what-
3060M runs at 60 watts. So big steps in AMD Ryzen mobile processors there. But that is not the big ticket item at hand. After missing the last generation, AMD is now set to release a brand new Threadripper Pro series running on the new 5nm die. This new Zen 4 CPU is set to have 96 cores. That's a big fucking number of cores. But don't get too excited, as the CPUs will only be available in Lenovo workstations and servers. So you won't be able to get your hands on that. I wouldn't recommend. Wouldn't recommend having a Threadripper in your system anyway, because it's a whole lot of bang, and you're never gonna see it ever. Right, unless you're doing some like hardcore, like we're talking like maybe 8K video rendering, or you're doing some big 3D workloads or whatnot. I don't recommend.
So in other words, the Threadripper goes with the quantum storage shit we spoke of last week.
Maybe, yeah.
It's like a big supercomputer.
Yeah.
Put the Threadripper in with the diamond storage.
Someone's trying to build a time machine.
Right.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. We're getting there.
It's close. It's
probably Zuckerberg, to be honest.
Oh,
but that's a wild number. I mean, that's 96 cores, 192 threads.
Yeah, 192, or a black hole generator.
Basically, yeah.
I mean, it's
that's crazy though.
Yeah, it's insane.
So over a year ago, NVIDIA launched light hash rate versions of its RTX 3000 lineup, which it designed to specifically reduce the mining performance for Ethereum and other GPU mineable cryptocurrencies. Since then, miners have been trying to bypass limiter with varying degrees of success. A couple of months ago, an unlocker tool was released that claimed to restore full mining performance, but turned out to be just malware. Needless to say, a lot of people got sucked into that one.
Shit.
But today,
anytime the crypto bros take an L, it's a good day.
But today, the developers of NiceHash, a company that provides mining software, have announced they completely bypassed NVIDIA's limiter and unlocked the full mining performance of LHR cards. Several outlets have tested the newest quick miner release candidate and confirmed that it works. It is stated that it only works on a select number of cards, and I believe it's the 3060 and the 3080 it doesn't work on. Even with this new crypto mining news, crypto mining is slowing down to a point where miners are selling off their GPUs in quite large quantities to get rid of their stock. We are more likely coming towards the end of the mining boom and could soon see GPU prices fall to MSRP. We have already started to see that. I believe the 3060 was the first one that came to that hit the MSRP price point. Or was it the 3080?
I thought it was a 3080 that come down.
Could have been the 3080, yeah. But I mean, other cards aren't that far away, realistically.
Good.
I mean,
very good.
It's even expected that the new AMD cards very well could be very close to MSRP at launch. So
yeah,
we'll have to wait and see. It sucks though, because if you've invested in cryptocurrency, you've lost a lot of money. It's essentially gone down by half.
Yeah, it took a big dive, didn't it?
It dived pretty quick. There was no recovering from that. Anyway, there's a new Red Dead Redemption game been leaked, going by the name of Red Dead Gunslinger. It has been said to be released in spring 2023. By the name, I'm sure you can figure out that it's not actually a AAA open world game, but instead is a mobile spin-off of the Red Dead franchise. This has also come off hot off the heels of Red Dead Redemption 2, possibly getting a remake just like GTA 5.
Rockstar!
It was in the news lately. Yes, it was in the news lately that Red Dead Redemption 2 would be getting a makeover, just like GTA 5 did. But, right, this is where it gets confusing because Red Dead Redemption 2 is already a beautiful looking game. Like,
yes,
absolutely,
it is a very good game. Yes,
stunning on every aspect, and it runs at 4K on console. So,
yes.
I don't know what they're going to do with it. What could they do? They're not going to... Please don't do another GTA trilogy thing and, like, try and fix things but end up breaking things.
I don't know what they could do with it.
That's it. Like, what do you do with a game that already runs the way the new... I mean, apart from giving new visuals to certain things,
I fail to see what they could actually do with it. Yeah, I don't know.
It is like if you've ever played RD2, wow, like just in the first like 20 minutes, you're just blown away by the game itself. But more than likely, you're going to have to pay for this remake or makeover, as they put it.
They'll probably maybe sprinkle in a few extra quests.
Maybe they could expand the map. Maybe.
I mean, the map is already pretty big.
Yeah, that map is enormous.
Because they didn't actually change much of the, I guess, the aesthetics from 1 to 2, which was good because it kept in that rhythm. But I'm just wondering, maybe there could be some sort of merging or a expansion on the map where.
I don't know, because like if you make the map any bigger, it might be too big because you can't really travel around the map super fast. You got to ride a horse everywhere.
You literally have to ride a horse. Yeah.
We're talking the game's already been out for X period of time, so people would already be covered on that first part of the map. So maybe if it's an expansion on the map, it'll be a new area. It'll breed new,
maybe
like a new sense to it.
Maybe I don't know.
They're not that innovative though. Like if they can just put a new label on the game and sell it to people for money, they're just gonna do that. I mean, why bother putting in the time to make it worth buying the upgrade when you can just put a new sticker on it and people are just gonna buy it anyway?
See, like the difference is, so you got GTA 5, very modern. I mean, you can add whatever you like to it. It's not going to make an ounce of difference. But then you got Red Dead 2, which is set in a Western era. It's like it's very limited to what you can put in the game, so it doesn't break it. Essentially,
there would be.
I don't know. I don't like the idea. I also haven't played Red Dead 2 for a very long time. I really should get back into that game actually. On a big world news thing. The Chinese government has stepped up its rules around live streaming platforms to prevent children from tipping streamers or streaming themselves without guardian consent. The change has come as part of a crackdown on the booming game sector. The National Radio and Television Administration said in a statement that live streaming platforms need to step up controls for underage users. In addition, platforms will need to strengthen the management of peak hours for streaming shows, and shows will need to be turned off at 10 p.m. local time for users under the youth mode parental control function. It follows changes made last year preventing children from playing games for longer than an hour per typical day. Oh, China. Basically, if you're under the age of 18, you've got no say in anything. You're stuffed. You just lock up the children until they're 18. So you may as well just do that.
How do they expect the site to manage that? I mean, we know for a fact, it doesn't matter if you're on Twitch, you're on Facebook, you're on Twitter. When it says date of birth, you can key any freaking number you want. There's no verification. How are they going to verify it? What are they going to ask for, a fucking copy of your birth certificate or your fucking driver's license? Like, come on.
Naturally,
now.
there's going to be
the parents
the
want
rebels.
their children moderated on what they're allowed to do, then moderate your children.
You're like, moderate your freaking children. Don't leave a site to have to do it.
But this is the Chinese government saying this. The government wants this for the youth. It's not the parents.
But I'm just saying, how are they going to verify it? Like, what steps would they be able to take to verify? They can't unless they've got some sort of access to the birth records. They're not going to know the exact date, so you could key anything.
So, I mean, this is what they want, but it mainly falls onto the parents of these children. It's the parents to enable the youth mode on these brand new devices, and to reinforce that they can only
so it should still come back to the parent, not the site.
An hour.
Yeah.
And I reckon if they know clone, then they're old enough to stream. As simple as that.
I know what a floppy disk is, clone. Yes, I remember when Windows came out on those.
Hell, I know what a cassette drive is on a PC. Go back that far.
No, I'm not that old.
Shut up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's no verification process they can possibly implement that wouldn't technically be flawed anyway.
Yeah. I mean, they do have the power, for streaming platforms in China to make them comply to this one way or another. They do have the power to do that. Platforms outside of China, though, I mean, good luck.
But I mean, okay,
you're
so
always going to have those rebel children that are going to do it regardless.
Well, exactly. They're going to just go, oh, yeah, I was born like 4 years before I was actually born, just so they can get access to it. You can't. It's unpoliceable. There's no way, unless the government is going to give the records for that individual's name. But then, again, you're using an alias name. You're not using your... Again, it's still a flawed system. It's... It's just so much wrong with that one statement. It's just,
Yeah, China really knows how to screw the pooch, don't they?
I mean, why don't the Chinese government just pull the fucking plug? Right, 9:30, everyone off. We'll plug it back in at 7 o'clock in the morning, right?
That's coming next.
It's easier.
They're just going to have a big switch for the internet. Just go on.
No more network. Bye, everyone.
Yeah. You'd be fucked if old mate slept in the next day like, oh, it's 9 o'clock. I haven't flicked the switch yet. Sorry, guys. Like, Christ.
Oh, no, I got stuck in traffic on the way in this morning. Nobody has internet now.
It's, I mean, man, yeah. No, it's crazy.
It's a flawed system. I mean, there's no logical way around it.
The problem is when you start to dive into things like this and you try to essentially categorize every aspect of life, it's just going to fall apart.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that didn't work, if you were some of the unfortunate crowd trying to play your Xbox last week, and found out that you couldn't, it was all because the servers were down. The Xbox support Twitter account reported issues impacting the ability to launch Xbox games and play games via Xbox Cloud on the evening of Friday the 6th, and then again on Saturday morning, and once more on Saturday night. The outages have sparked a wave of complaints on social media, including from streamer and Xbox presenter Paris Lilly, who has called for greater transparency from Microsoft and how its digital rights management policies work. Paris wrote on Twitter, "The Xbox outages have made it clear that something needs to change with their DRM policy. Games that are downloaded to my console should have a window to be offline and playable without checking in. Hopefully we get some clarity and a solution to avoid this issue again." It was also stated that single player and offline games also fell into this hole of unplayability. An update regarding the issue should be announced by the Xbox team soon. TM. So is this, could this be the final straw for people in DRM?
I mean, look, first off, the internet is a fickle thing. It's going to drop. It's going to break. It's going to cause something. To sit there and basically call them out and say you need to change your processes because your site went down for like a day.
Yeah.
Like how? Okay, if you can't play, you can't be without a day of playing a game or being able to load it. What the fuck are you doing with your life? Like, surely you could like get out and go and talk to family. You could go for a walk. You go and get some air. Like, it's one freaking day. Like, I don't understand this. This happens every time that something goes down, and it's the same on the Sony side. They do it as well.
Times, like, I've logged into World of Warcraft and they're like being DDoSed or they're having server outages. It's like, oh, I guess I'll just do something else tonight.
Yeah,
and I'll just play it again tomorrow. It's like.
But I think
it disheartening? Yes, when you're not able to reach what you want. I think it's
more directed towards single-player games. I think that's what the main issue is here. You know, you want to play a single-player game
knowing.
Yeah, but you know, you want to play a single-player game and you can't because you don't have internet access.
I mean, Gran Turismo had this issue. Gran Turismo had this issue a few weeks after launch. There was like one weekend where they were working on an update and they had server issues, and the majority of the game was just offline. You could like log in and do like the music rally or something for like 2 days. Yeah. And like that's all you could do because they had some like server issues that they were working on. And I guess I get it, because like, why is a single player game like not accessible? But at the same time, if it needs to be online, then it's naturally not going to be accessible.
Yeah.
So there was a big thing with Xbox when the One launched. It was all about having the online capabilities so they could hot update. They could literally push things in while it's live.
Yeah.
So we've known about it. I mean, it's been on Xbox for what? 5 years plus?
Yeah.
It's not a new feature. Like, this has been going for a long time. It's like me. I've got my console in the boys' room. So if it goes down, I can't log into my console here at my computer and play games because this is not my home console. I understand that. So I go, whatever, I'll just go to something else. Like, seriously,
I mean, it was a day. Not a thing. Even though it's single-player games, it's like every game you play, even if it's a single player, is online at some point or another, whether it's reaching a server, bouncing information back and forth. Like, most games have to have that connection because that's just how they're built around. It's how the consoles communicate with each other in order to allow real-time updates. If there's a bug, it can be fixed now. Like, if you look at, like, I have my PlayStation 2 right here, right? You know, this console, it's not connected online. You buy the game and that's it, which is great in situations where, you know, internet goes down or whatever. But the problem is the games are as they are shipped, which means they had to be perfect. They had to be perfected, and any bugs included in the game are just always going to be there. Whether it's a game-breaking bug or not, it's always going to be there. You know, we live in a time where even single-player games are connected to online servers. The developers can instantly work on those and get those patches out. Whether they actually do that or not is a question, but they do have that ability to get those patches out there and fix those bugs constantly and at all times. And I'd say that's worth having to, okay, maybe Friday night I can't play my game for a couple hours. Like,
yeah,
it's
I mean,
not
but
as big
we're
of a
talking
deal.
like we're talking like it was 2 solid days where no one could play anything essentially on the platform. So I kind of agree with the whole window thing. You know, if it does lose that connection to whatever server it's trying to connect to, you've got a certain window where you're still able to play the game until the end of that window. You know, and after that, you know, it's a free for all. So, like, because you could be playing a game, right? You could be in the middle of a game, you lose connection to the server, the game's just going to be like, oh, it's going to close it down and ask you whether you own the game because it can't connect to the server to essentially register the DRM.
Yeah.
So having that window, I mean, even if it, I don't know, even if the game popped up with a message saying we've lost connection to, you know, valuable resources that are required to play the game, some shit like that, the game will shut down in 30 minutes. Fuck, I don't know. You know, that's a kind of a step in the right direction, but I mean, DRM's fickle and has been for a very long time when it comes to consoles. It's just, you know, it's a very stringent market.
The one thing I'm seeing in all this though is people don't want updates every week. They don't want big updates every week on a console. But yet they don't want the hot patching, aka I'm going to use a really bad model here, but aka Forza. You know, it just hot cycles, bang. It just hot cycles. There's no update. It's just rolled through because it's just hot patching. Yeah. Like they don't want the hot patching because I can't play games, and they don't want updates because I don't want to sit and wait for a game to update. It's like, what do you want? You can't blend the two together. You're either going to shut the DRM down and you're just going to go back to the way it was, and you have to update every week, or you got to run with the hot patching. I mean,
or the alternative is PlayStation 2 era games, where once the game is out, and you just don't get bug fixes.
Yeah. You get nothing. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Fuck, we grew up on those games, on games where it came out and that was it. That's what you got. We're like going back to like Atari, the Super NES, you know, original PlayStation, like, you know, all of those. That was it. Whatever state that game was in when it finally released, bugs and all, that's what you got.
Yes.
But I mean, it forced the developers to make sure everything was done. You wouldn't have, back in that era, you wouldn't have Forza Horizon 5 launching with, you know, 1,000 bugs and then adding another 500 every week since then. It just wouldn't happen. You know,
the game would be play tested.
It'd be like
it no longer be play tested.
Yep. But it'd be like, here's your game. Here's Mario. Okay, now you've got that game. We're going to go work on the new one. Here's the new one. We're going to go work on another one.
Yeah.
Those games had to be ready within a window of release date because they needed time to then print the game out on the media.
They had a hard date. Like, that was it.
Yep.
Yes.
And like I understand, you know, games these days, they're getting bigger, bolder, there's a lot more to them. But, you know, the teams developing these games are far bigger than like the 5 people that worked on a Super NES game or something.
And a far bigger budget too.
Yeah. Like
they got a much bigger budget.
And
like, I mean, you'd look at last year's Call of Duty, it was the same budget as almost one of the top level films. It was like, my God, the budget for the game was on par with a film. It's like, no.
Wow. And some developers are going for that. You know, we want the game to be as polished as possible before it's released. I get that. I respect that. You know?
Right.
But, you know,
I'd rather see that than
games like
another
Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes.
Right. They promised the same thing. You know, they delayed the game, 2 or 3 times? You know, because they wanted a product that was on par with what they had in mind,
Mhm.
and they released it, and it was a pile of garbage, and it didn't get fixed until, you know, like a year later.
Yeah. But
To make
I mean,
it
in that
playable.
situation, at least they didn't wipe their hands out and say, "Oh, we're just moving on to the next game. We'll just patch
Yeah.
bits when we get to it." They actually said, "Okay, we goose that. We completely ruined that experience. We're going to fix it," and they did. They went back and they fixed
Yeah.
a lot of it. Okay, they didn't fix all of it, but they did fix a lot of it, and they keep just doing little patches. But you take Horizon 5, and this is a big one for you. Every week, it's just getting worse. It's like they just don't care. They put the game out and gone, yeah, we're just going to keep cycling the week over, and then we're just going to move on to the new one. It's there's a difference between releasing a game that is bad and fixing it, and then releasing a game and just continuing the bug line with it.
Yeah, and like the problem with Horizon 5 is that it does add new content every week. So you've got a dev team that's working on adding new content, but that same dev team is trying to bug fix the problems with the current week.
Yeah.
And then can't. So they just move on to the next week. And that introduces a whole plethora of new bugs
because they
and
haven't
problems
fixed the
with
coding
game.
errors that were in the problem.
It's like
because they haven't
a
fixed
snowball rolling down the mountain. But like each week they make new snowballs. So then there's
perfect
more
example
and more
is the weekly challenge in Horizon 5. 4 weeks, like months even, it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked as intended. There was a stage where they did update the game that fixed it for that week. The next week, they broke it again.
Crashed.
And it's been broken ever since then. Like you cannot complete it at all. So,
I mean, I don't want to take anything away from the developing and stuff like that, because it is tough work. And you know, talking with Mytho around Glimboy, for example, like, you know, you reported that problem to him, Speed. We sat down, we nutted out, went, oh shit, that's the problem. So it's not hard to, if you have the team who built that section, to go back and say, where's the issue? Oh, there it is there. That doesn't talk with page 75 of this code, and then, you know, fix it, like work it out. Like,
and I don't think
don't see why we have this issue.
And I don't necessarily think it's on the fault of the devs themselves. I think it's the upper level management and how they're putting this game together and prioritizing new content, new releases, new, bring in players, because that is what brings in the players, that brings in the money, more so than let me spend a week working on this bug that is annoying me, but it's only affecting like 5% of the users. Like they don't look at that as valuable time investment. And I wish that would change, because I really feel bad for the actual developers that actually put all this effort into making these games like Forza Horizon 5, that, you know, they're passionate about making this game. And at the same time, it's the developers that are constantly getting shit on when they may see the bug, but they're not necessarily allowed to at the time fix it.
Their hands are tied.
It's directing them on something else. And it's
to a degree, their hands are locked up. You know, they can't do anything with it. Yeah, it's a problem, and it's not just, you know, Xbox is not just, you know, it's everywhere. There's always a limiting factor as to, hey, and this is what, you know, when we spoke to Longplay, he said, you know, that's the good thing about being an indie dev is he can push it out. He's got no set foundation. It doesn't have to be at this time, so he can push that and he can develop a polished product.
Yeah.
So again, I think we've got bigger industry problems.
There's a game-breaking bug, I can take the time to fix that without having to continue to work on the next storyline quest or something like that.
The problem is, like, you've got the devs and you've got the publishers, and there's that contract with the publishers. You know, you've got to get everything done within that time frame, and if you need to extend it, that's expensive. You know, that's an expensive extension. So it's not like an easy choice to make. It costs these guys a lot of money to extend the deadline.
Those contracts. Yeah, exactly.
So it's a hard one. But On that, Xbox has announced that two of its most anticipated titles, Redfall and Starfield, are getting delayed until next year.
Good.
These were the only exclusives set to launch on Xbox this year. Interestingly, one surprising aspect players have noticed is that PlayStation Studios has released more games for the Xbox than the Xbox itself. But don't look too deep into that, because the only game that it's referring to is MLB The Show 22, which is a PlayStation Studios game that got released on the Xbox. So it's not really much of an argument. It's just, PlayStation 1, Xbox.
My thing, like, that's the thing. Sony's always trying to throw shade, but when shade comes at them, they're like, "Oh, no, I think do that."
It was more the PlayStation community sort of having a dig. It's like, PlayStation's released more games.
We released a baseball game, guys.
Yeah,
we released a baseball game.
We've released more games on your console than you have on your very own. Yeah, it's just more of a dig. But Phil Spencer has had some words about delays, saying Xbox must work better to meet expectations. Spencer added, "Such decisions were hard on teams making these games for our fans. While I fully support giving teams time to release these great games when they are ready, we hear the feedback. Delivering quality and consistency is expected. We will continue to work to better meet those expectations." I mean,
because he got slammed for those comments by saying he's got to learn to manage better. But no, they've come and said, "Hey, we are not going to be ready to launch this product, and we don't want to give you a pile of shit. We want to give you a product."
Do you think they maybe learned from Forza Horizon's launch? Says we can't afford another Forza blunder.
Battlefield, Forza, Call of Duty. Yeah. I mean, the list goes on, doesn't it? Cyberpunk, No Man's Sky.
But you go back,
where does it stop?
You go back, 15 years. You had 2-3 years to work on a game, right? And that was the time. People still expect that time limit now. A very short sort of turnaround between, "Oh, hey, we're working on this game. Here's a teaser for it," and then release. Like, they expect a very small turnaround, and it's just not possible.
I think it's the end user, though. It's the end user that has pushed this on to companies to try and move. Because you've got your Call of Duty that were an annual release every year. Then Forza did it. They went, Motorsport Horizon. So what people aren't thinking about is, oh, hang on, Motorsport was a 2-year gap. Horizon was a 2-year gap. They're not thinking about that. They're not thinking the same with Call of Duty, where it was Activision, then it was Sledgehammer, then it was Activision and Sledgehammer. It was an offset. Yeah. So they're not thinking a 2-year window. All they're seeing is bang, every year.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Some
GTA
of the high quality games take 3 or 4 years.
Even back in the day
GTA
when
5
it
was in development for 6 years, I think.
Yeah. Even Call of Duty back in the day, you had Infinity Ward and Treyarch, and they alternated back and forth. And now obviously they have different publishing studios now, but that's still how it is today. There's the different Call of Duty games are all run and managed by different studios.
Yeah.
And they shift those around all the time to try to keep up with that release schedule. And Xbox isn't doing that. It's just Bethesda working on Starfield. That's
right. It's just one studio. Yeah, that's right. They don't have that backup plan. Well, not really a backup plan, but they don't have that other studio to make a game to fill that 12-month gap.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just because us as end users are seeing, oh, Call of Duty on the shelf. Oh, I've got to go and get it. Why can't Forza do it? Oh, Forza's starting to do it. Yeah. Oh, great. Why can't? And that's what it is. It's stupidity.
So would you say that us as a generation of gamers, not going to include all of us, have become too entitled. And
100%. Don't even need to finish that sentence. 100%.
Yeah,
totally.
Well,
there's no question about it. We have become entitled. It's as simple as that. We want what we want, and we want it now. We don't want to wait until it's finished. But when we get it now and it's shit, we're going to whinge about it. It's as simple as that.
What is patience?
Well, that's it.
Exactly.
This generation is entitled and impatient. Like
Yes.
that is
The classic,
just generation of bubble.
the classic, and you just spoke on it before. Cyberpunk. They said we're not ready, and people go, "Don't care, we want it now. Give it to us now. We want it. We want it. We want it." And they got pressured, and Cyberpunk went, "Okay, fuck it. Here, have it."
Yeah.
5 minutes
And-
later, oh, your game's a piece of shit. Take it back. We don't want it. It's like, we just told you it's no good.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You know, they just said it was no good, but yet they still pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed.
In that light, Cyberpunk did have an extraordinary amount of hype building that game up. So the hype levels were exceeding the game itself before it even launched.
Right, but even so, if Cyberpunk had stuck to their guns and said, "No, we're not ready,"
Mhm.
and only gave it once it was polished and ready for them by their standards, they'd have been fine.
Yeah,
But-
you would have had a
but
much better release.
They
Let's
listened to
take-
these entitled little people. They gave them the product, and then those entitled people turned around and threw it back in their face and said, "You shit, go and make your game properly." Now, those entitled people are sitting on another 12 months, 18 months waiting for the game to be finished. When if they'd have just shut up for 6 months, it probably would have been done.
Yeah,
You know?
but I mean, it does come down to, I guess, it comes down to the contracts because it gets towards the end of the contract, they have to announce a release date. Be
Yes.
like the game's coming out now, and then they're sort of committed, regardless of whether the game is
and
fixed or
Not only
or
that,
not.
but I learned a lot about this when I was researching Warcraft 3 Reforged. And one of the reasons that game got pushed out in such a sad state was because they have this window of, I think it's 4 to 6 months between an initial release date and how far back you're allowed to push it back before you have to start allowing refunds on pre-order.
Yeah.
And in order to lock in those profits, they released the game when it wasn't ready so that they could stay within that window so they didn't have to give people a refund on the pre-order.
Yeah.
And I think you're seeing a lot of that as well because they'll announce the game and be like, "Oh yeah, you can pre-order it."
Yeah.
And then now they're locked into having that window within that date. So whether the game is done by then or not, it still has to come out in a shoddy state. So, I mean, I think the only way to avoid that is say, just give like an ambiguous date, like, I don't know, like November 2022 or whatever. And then don't allow pre-orders until you have that specific date. The game is closer to completion.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's kind of putting these studios in this box to releasing bad products is because they legally have to release it within a window of when they announce that release date so that they can start collecting those pre-orders so they can get that extra ingest of funds in to meet their quotas for the year.
No, I agree. I agree with that. But so I was going to make, say GTA 6 an example. But I mean,
Right.
GTA 6 is made by Rockstar. Rockstar is just not only is Rockstar swimming in money, but they don't care when they release their game because they know that people are going to fucking buy it.
They'll probably still release 2 more
they
GTA
also-
5s before GTA 6.
Yeah, I mean, but they don't set a hard date for a release. When GTA 5, when that trailer came out, that was I think it was 2 years prior to the game coming out. And
But is that because they have their own, the dev and publisher was in their own system, so they don't have to limit to the same thing?
Yeah, they're their own enclosed system. It's like Microsoft Studios, essentially. So for them, it's a lot better. They've got much more control over it. They're not locked into any contracts. I mean, how long has GTA 6 been in development for now?
Well, who knows? I mean, is there an exact date? We don't know.
We don't. It's at least 6 years now, and we're looking at maybe another 2 years until release. But considering what they put in the game, it's kind of worth it. But
but again, the game's going to launch with, somewhat 90% completion.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a 65 with updates that are going to come to fix that other 35%. So
I'm not saying that when they release a game, it's going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. There's going to be things that are going to be missed.
That's right.
But as you said, it does come down to the user. The user is impatient.
The only reason
they just need to back off and just let things happen.
Right.
Because these
the user just needs to wait until it's out.
Yeah, these are businesses that deal with large amounts of money and a large amount of people. Like, you're just going to let them do their thing and just wait.
I mean, in some aspects, as a user or an end user, like us, as in people picking up games and shit, and putting the pressure back to these studios is why they've got to put the pressure back to the staff. And that is, that's not healthy. Yeah. I mean, can you imagine if, let's say, chat was like, oh, side note, you got to run for the next 6 hours, we need you for 6 hours because I'm not going to be able to make it. We have to stay on and on and on. Eventually, you're going to hit that phase where you're pushing too much onto the staff. And it's, I mean,
but like it's all
it's
well
bad
and good
enough on anything, be it streaming services or be it games or anything. You can't put that much pressure back to the staff.
Well, it's all well and good.
Pressure on Yakes is yawning.
It's all well and good after the game's released to nitpick and be like, oh, this is broken, But that's kind of like, it's feedback in an annoying sense, but it's feedback, But prior to that release, they're like, oh, we need the game now, and then they're like, oh, sorry, due to restraints, we need to push the game back by a couple of months just to really nail down some of the features that we're trying to put in. And everyone's like,
I'm going to cancel my pre-order and I'm going to cancel my pre-order. I'm going to sell my console because
I want my game.
You support us.
And cracking the shits. I mean, they look at that. They obviously like these devs. They see that and they're like, oh god, did we make the wrong decision? And now we've really got to try and get things done as soon as possible.
Now they go to the staff. They push it to the staff and say, you need to make this because we can't afford to lose 10 pre-orders.
Yeah, I mean the hype is too high around this game right now. We need this done and it needs to be right. Yeah,
totally. And that's where the entitlement comes in.
Environment.
It does. It builds totally. It's shocking. And look, it's been developing over the last I'd say 10 years.
Easy.
Probably maybe a little bit longer, but the last 10 years for sure have definitely seen a new generation of gamer that just wants it yesterday and tomorrow's not good enough.
I mean,
if it wasn't released yesterday, it's a piece of shit. Don't want it.
Yeah, if they want games like really quick, support indie devs.
Yeah, indie devs.
They will knock out a short, sweet game real quick. If that doesn't tie you over, get a life.
Pretty much, yeah. If you don't have your game, get outside, go and exercise, ride a bike, get on a skateboard.
That's not what.
Go and kick a ball.
Not why they. That's not why they bought a $5,000 PC, man. Come on.
Well, you want to do something with your time? Buy iRacing. That'll sink all your money. You won't need to worry about any other game on the planet.
Yeah, done.
Join us in the World of Warcraft cult.
Yeah. That'll solve everything. So an Xbox user has been confronted with a rather strange message. Whilst playing a game on their console, an error message appeared, but not in the typical Xbox fashion. The message read, out of video memory, trying to allocate a rendering resource. Make sure your video card has the minimum required memory, lowering the resolution and or closing other applications that are running. The Xbox in question was the Series X. They're stating that it seems to be a bug in the game. This is not a new message, by the way. It has appeared once or twice before. But it's more how the game has been coded. But it's an interesting message to have appeared on your console. I have not seen it. I'm pretty sure I would shit the bed if I saw my console say that message.
Sorry, I got a mini side note for me now.
No. I did see that. So this was an interesting one. There is if you can grab the link for this, Lord, that'd be great. So a Twitch streamer doing a cooking stream nearly burnt down her kitchen after setting fire to what she was cooking.
I've seen this clip.
Yeah, in the clip you can see the room filling with smoke prior to the food combusting. You could see
There's the link there, guys.
Yeah, you can see her panic and make a show of it, like really sort of like ham it up, like, oh my god, fire. Whilst asking users in chat what should do before rushing off screen.
I mean, your kitchen's on fire.
It's
Don't try and use anything. Just talk to chat. Hey, what should I do? You fucking duh.
yeah.
Oh no! Shut off the heat.
Okay, but I mean,
Get it off the
problem
heat
started.
for starters.
The problem started before the pan caught fire.
I know. I watched the clip and I was just in
kitchen
disarray.
is just
My
smothered in
favorite part
smoke.
was when she put it in the sink and poured water on it.
Yeah, that's the worst thing you can do to an oil fire.
It's an oil fire.
Yes.
Yeah,
Put another pan over it, like smother it, like.
but the bigger problem is that the room was filled with smoke, and she just kept going. She's like, it's fine.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll just keep cooking.
Just a bit of smoke
Oh
in the
no,
kitchen.
it's all smoky in
Jeez,
here.
I don't
No.
know. Maybe it shouldn't be smoking that fucking much in the first place.
Yeah.
Can I just? I'm pretty sure we might have somebody in Side Note that may have done similar things with a pan just recently.
Okay. Yes, I didn't start a fire. But okay, so I was
It's similar things. I didn't point names, so you dumped yourself in.
anyway. Let me just tell the story. Why don't I? Okay, so I was trying to make some lunch on Saturday, and I had the oil heating up in the pan. I just decided it wasn't even like that hot. It was on like medium heat, and something came up, so I had to run into the other room. Like I was gone like 2 minutes. And I come back, and the oil's just burnt on the bottom of the pan, and there's a little bit of smoke. So I shut the burner off and just set it aside and let it cool off. And now I've got this like burnt oil on the bottom of my pan. And I'm like,
So in 2 minutes, you managed to evaporate the oil that was in the pan.
yeah. I
I
didn't
don't
really use like
think
a
you
lot
had
of
it on a
oil.
medium setting.
It was on.
Why
It wasn't a
Now we
lot of
know
oil, but
cooking with carrots isn't a thing?
yeah. Put an end to that one already.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah, like it
funny.
didn't start fire. Like I was.
I mean, you didn't have
I
enough
burned
oil
the
in there
oil.
to start a fire. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, I burned the oil. That sucks. Yeah,
Sorry,
But-
I did take
but-
that poke when I could.
you know, it's okay.
Like the 7 p.m. Eastern.
But this just pushes on to the fact that people like this shouldn't be doing things like this.
Yeah,
They-
yeah.
At what point was there any responsibility from anyone like, geez, that's a lot of smoke, maybe you should take care of that instead of
But I mean,
still trying to cook the oil that you've got in the pan.
But I mean, the sheer fact that the stream was more focused about here than what was going on back there is a real problem. Like, if you're doing a cooking stream, you've got to set up in such a way you don't have to, like, hi, everyone. Oh, shit, my kitchen's burning down. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
No.
But you can see, as soon as it took a flame, she looked around and was like, oh, like, she's like, what sort of reaction are you trying to get from everyone?
I feel like she started the fire on purpose.
It almost no, but this is the problem.
It looks very soft.
Yeah, it looks like a publicity stunt, but this is what streaming has become on Twitch now. It's like,
but like,
shit, an incident
looks
happened.
so fake.
How can I milk this?
It looks so fake. Because like, how do you sit there with all that smoke filling up and be like, "Hey guys, cooking still," and then it's just like, "There's a fire." What do I do? Oh God! Oh God! Oh no! Now there's fire all over the place. What do I do?
Yeah,
what do I do?
It's like, oh God.
It's like,
It wasn't convincing.
You clearly do not spend enough time around the general public. If you think there aren't people out there who are like this. There are more people out there who are like that than you realize.
Oh, okay.
Like, yes, the stupidity runs
to me like
supreme.
bad acting. That's all.
No,
it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't bad acting, I mean, please.
No, I mean, it would have just
doing cooking streams for the sake of your own life.
Because she would have been in the moment of entertaining chat. It would have just been a natural reaction of, "Oh, there's a fire! Oh my God!" Just look to the camera and be like, "Oh my God, there's a fire!" No,
But that's the problem with fucking streaming is everyone has to think we've got to entertain here.
Yeah, no.
Like you're doing a cooking stream, the focus should be the cooking, not you doing what you normally do. Like, it's not the same thing. Like
but if I'm sitting here streaming and my fridge explodes and catches fire to my kitchen, you best believe I'm going to go sort that shit out. Fuck everyone else.
Like if my hallway back there spontaneously combusts, the last thing I'm going to do is run out into the hallway and be like, oh, there's a fire, and come back and be like, what do I do, guys? What do I do?
Fire in my house.
What should I do?
Yeah. Run away, come back. It's really big. And run away again.
Guys, there's a lot of smoke in here. What should I do?
it's. Right. I mean,
those people are
very suspect.
Very sus. There's an imposter among us.
This falls back on to me always saying, anyone can stream, just not everyone should.
Everyone should. Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Yep.
And look, I joke with cooking with carrots, but that show that you did with those tacos or whatever, I mean, that was actually really good because you had the camera set up in chat or anything like that. You were like, all right, so we've got to chop this, and now we've got to put that in the pan. That's what it should be, not hey, look at me.
Hey, to be fair,
but give me a dinner. It's like, nah, fuck off.
The only reason I stopped doing that was due to hardware limitations, because what would happen is my laptop couldn't run the encoder fast enough to keep up with Glimesh. So it kept lagging more and more behind as the stream was going on. So now I'm on like this 10-second delay, and I'm just like, can you guys see it? I don't know. And it's just like, it just kind of became more frustrating to stream.
He's like, hey, this tastes good, as he's putting it in the pan to cook it.
yeah, pretty much.
No, it was good. So, in that aspect, it was that was a differentiating part from, hey, I'm iRacing, and I'm doing this, to, hey, I'm cooking and I'm not focused on you. This is my focus because I don't want to, kill myself or take a finger off. There was a big difference.
Right.
That video is a classic example of why you don't mix certain aspects of streaming together and try and create that nutshell.
Well, especially if it's not something that you do on a regular basis.
Oh, shit, no.
If you're cooking on a regular basis, then the safeties and what not to do. But if you're just like, oh, hey, I'm gonna fry up some chips in my pan, it's like something's gonna go wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just don't do it, for God's sake. Please don't do it.
There's certain type of streams where the streamer takes front and center and the content takes front and center. When you're doing a cooking stream, you're using fire and heat and knives and things like that. The content should be first. The content should be your focus, then the entertainment, then the chat.
Turn the damn cam off.
Agree.
Yeah,
absolutely, totally agree.
Crazy.
So, moving on from that, if you grab the link for this as well, Lord. A new video has surfaced online showing off a Japanese train station in Unreal Engine 5. The video immediately received criticism for being faked, but a lot of people were shocked by the surreal feel of the video, and thus the deep dive began. Users started scrutinizing the video and came to a common consensus that the video was indeed made in Unreal Engine 5. Some key standouts were repeating and flipped textures and some lighting anomalies. Basically, when you watch the video, it is just absolutely gobsmacking how lifelike that scene is.
Very, very good. Yeah,
but that just shows what UE5 can do.
It's very uncanny valley, because it looks real, but it's like
but you've got to really look close. Yeah, you've got to really look close to see the anomalies. Like on the stairs, you can see. I think it's the second stair and the fourth stair have the same texture, but one of them's flipped around. So there are repeating textures, and textures are flipped and whatnot. But you've got to look like really close. But if you're like, say in that sort of scenario, and it is like a dark and spooky scenario where you are being chased, you're not going to look at that. Or if you've got something else to look at, you're not going to pay attention to, a flipped texture or repeating textures here and there. You're not going to see that. But
is this what the metaverse is going to look like?
No. No, it's not.
If he used Unreal Engine for meta, I mean, wow. I just don't think he's got the brain power to figure that out. I think he might use Unreal Engine 1 for that and be like, hey, come check out the UV graphics. And everyone's like, dude, that's 30 years old. Fuck off.
The metaverse is going to look like Bug Snacks, to be honest.
Going to look like shit. Actually, has anyone played that yet? Just quietly.
I have not played it yet.
I
watched videos of it, but I haven't played it yet.
I have watched you play it, and it is interesting.
It is a lot of fun. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. Yeah, so Unreal Engine 5 looking shit hot at the moment. With a new Need for Speed game on the horizon, it seems like some major moves are being made. Codemasters tweeted out earlier this week, "We can confirm Criterion Games and the development team at Codemasters Cheshire are officially coming together to create the future of Need for Speed, forming one Criterion studio with 2 location hubs. This integration builds off the close partnership the 2 studios have developed over the last few months. Sharing common values and similar cultures, we strongly believe unifying the huge wealth of expertise across both teams will help us to deliver the best racing experiences we can for our players."
That's exciting.
Yes. Fucking
Thank
So,
God.
like, you've got
EA finally put a brain in their head.
Right?
So you've got Criterion Games that did the Burnout series. So already top-notch racing games there. And you've got Codemasters that did Grid and MotorStorm. Again, another outstanding racing game. And to merge the two together. Oh, that's
right. All I can say.
This next Need for Speed game is going to be next-gen consoles only. They've already stated that. So this could be the game that we need for the Need for Speed franchise. It could be the revival that starts it all over again. Because let's be honest, the last handful of games have been absolute garbage. And
this
very enjoyable.
News with putting like those 2 teams together is almost like the news we spoke about with the new World of Outlaws game coming for console, where they put iRacing and that game studio together. Now, if you take any Dirt Series game that is on console and you put the iRacing, fundamentals into it, you got a hell of a console game. I'm telling you now, you got a hell of a console game. If they can put all the laser scanning in, you can actually feel like a proper car. That's a whole different game. And I think the fact that EA have gone, 2 racing studios, let's put them together.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer. Like, honestly, it'd be like merging Treyarch and DICE together and saying, hey, they're going to make one version of an FPS. Like, it's going to be,
but you've got
top-notch. It's going to go somewhere.
Yeah, but you've got 2 devs that essentially have molded the arcade racing experience.
Yeah, exactly right.
For generations, they have. Yeah,
I mean, you got Grid, which has been a little bit more real world, and then you got Burnout, which has been a little bit more arcadey. So if you bring them together, you've got essentially another Gran Turismo Forza style game. Like,
but
you've actually
in
got
saying
that.
this, right? So Grid has some form of damage model to their cars, which is not bad. It's not like over the top, but it is detailed. I mean, you can take chunks out of your front spoiler, and it actually looks somewhat realistic. And you got Burnout, which is very good
at destroying cars,
at crashing vehicles and having like some form of soft body physics. Yes. So could we see the first of its kind, a Need for Speed game that has like
Damage physics.
damage physics.
Could be.
Oh,
That'd
be good for the
excites
genre,
me.
though. That would be
Yeah.
good for the genre.
But it needs it, doesn't it? It's sort of like the thing that it's
Well,
lacking.
I mean, yeah.
Because it is an arcade racer, but there is
Yeah,
no
it's-
damage model. It's like, oh, you've kind of scratched up the paint. But you're doing 200 miles an hour down the fucking highway. You know, it's...
And you slammed in the back of a car, and all you did was just, you know, put a little few lines on the
but
front
if you're
bumper.
like-
Scratch
if
the
you're
paint a
like-
little bit.
Yeah, but if you're like
Yeah.
open street racing, like in, you know, Need for Speed Heat, and you run into another car, the big crash, I would love to see that. And that sort of
You know what I'd like
you
to
know,
see?
causes
that
some sort of ricochet
mechanic.
effect.
That mechanic they had in one of the Need for Speeds, I think it might have been Most Wanted, where if you're racing and you took damage, it kept checking your damage meter down until you took fatal damage. You lost engine power. You lost, you know, and then once you
Yeah.
hit something on that final thing, it just stopped you from running. It kind of like
Hot Pursuit, that mechanic as
Hot
well.
Pursuit did it as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
I mean, they could do that,
That kind of thing in a
But
real
also-
world racing type thing would be good.
Mhm.
but also introduce a physical damage model as well that
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
coincides with that
Yeah.
damage effect.
Yeah,
That would be
exactly.
cool.
Yeah.
I
I see this could
genuinely
be a good
excited.
thing for Need for Speed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Need for Speed could be back on the map.
Need for Speed has disappointed me many years running.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
genuinely excited for this.
Yeah.
I think
Which
it's
is
gonna be
bad. Which is bad because I was genuinely excited for the Need for Speed reboot, and then that sort of fell apart. But
Oh well.
I have massive like backing for Criterion and Codemasters. They have made
Yeah, this is
amazing
going to
games.
be very interesting to see how that comes out.
So we could be seeing a whole swag of new games coming from Sega over the next 12 months, with Sega reporting massive increases in profit over game sales.
Mhm.
They've stated that they intend to release numerous games along with some remakes or remasters. The remasters may include, not confirmed, may include Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio. So we could be seeing some really good Sega classics come back in a whole new way.
Can you imagine like an up-to-date Crazy Taxi? Ooh, how good would that be?
That'd be really
Instead of the cartoony graphics, you get a little bit more, you know, a little bit more up-to-date graphics on it, everything like that. That could be really sick to play. Not going to
Yeah.
lie. Crazy
Could
Taxi
be
could be a lot of
really
fun if you can just flog around in like, you know, a more realistic world looking with a proper real car and stuff like that. It could be really cool.
A bigger world, you know, more to scale sort of thing. That,
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
But more get away
I'm
from the
down for it.
cartoony stuff and get more into like, say, Forza type graphics. That could be cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
That could be quite funny to play, you know.
In an interesting, this is a good one. In an interesting development, an ad for Fortnite has been captured playing on Twitch. The ad itself is normal, with it showcasing streamers playing Fortnite, but right in the middle is a clip of DrDisrespect playing Fortnite. Considering Twitch's previous relationship with the Doctor, it's rather odd that they would allow such an ad. Considering streamers couldn't even play with the Doctor without being suspended from the platform. But this does raise a very important question. Do they review the ads? Clearly not. That they put on the platform, or do they just accept the money and go with it?
Well, do you know? Okay, so what poses the thing for me is you found that tweet from the Dr. Disrespect this week about he's going to unfollow YouTube Gaming because they don't follow him. So why?
Yes.
Now there's an ad with him in it on Twitch.
Do you think
I
it's
think
going to
it's
go?
probably more of a
theory,
case
but you
of-
know,
But
I think it's more of a
isn't
case of Twitch not necessarily screening the ads that
yeah.
play. They just see, oh, it's a Fortnite ad. We know Fortnite, and Fortnite just put the clip in there. I don't think it's I really don't think there's too much to look into this, other than Twitch just not really screening the ads.
but the funny thing was when that ad was on. I don't know if you actually watched it, but it seemed to just sit there longer than it did any other person. It was like ding, 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 doctor, 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 next person. It was like it sat there. It just lingered on him longer than ever.
I mean, that could just be Fortnite, intentionally throwing that edit in there. Like, I really don't think this is not so much like a thing with Twitch having anything to do with this. I think it's just they didn't vet the ad. Yeah. And it could be just Fortnite just being like, oh.
Which then poses that next thing is Twitch is just out there for the money.
Yes.
That then pushes that point.
I mean, we all do that.
But I'm just saying that clearly, if they're not screening the ad, they're clearly just saying, "Oh, you want to advertise? Yeah, give us money." Yeah.
Oh yeah, we know Fortnite. We go way back with Fortnite. Yeah, sure.
It's like Twitch would be like, "Oh, hey, Epic wants to run an ad." Okay.
Yeah.
We don't care.
As far as that conversation went. Yeah. But
so
I don't think it has anything to do with DrDisrespect dissing YouTube gaming as a whole.
No, but I'm just saying it's kind of convenient that that comes up and then an ad later that same week. It just falls in line with.
It's a very interesting coincidence. I will say that.
Yes.
So Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney has revealed that Epic will, later this year, release the Unreal editor for Fortnite. He stated, the full capabilities that you've seen in Unreal Engine opened up so that anybody can build very high quality game content and code and deploy it into Fortnite without having to deal with us. Our aim is to make a first-class outlet for reaching the consumers, just like you might look at a mobile app stores and consoles and Steam as ways to reach the users. Now people are also looking at Fortnite as a Roblox, as ways of reaching users. Along with that, we're building an economy and will support the creators actually building businesses around their work and making increasing amounts of profit from the commerce that arises from people playing their content. So basically, they've looked at Roblox being like, I want to do that. And
taking another good idea and putting it under the Epic slogan. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's cool. It's going to be interesting. It's going to open up to a lot of content, like maps and stuff. It's going to really sort of go ham on that.
I was going to say, that'll be the first thing you can expect to see. Be maps.
They're not just giving access to props; they're giving access to the entire thing. Like, you could
new vehicles,
maybe you could probably even how long is it going to be before someone makes a prop hunt game on it?
Well, that's it. Like,
you
can make a new map. You can adjust the properties. You can essentially have an entirely different gameplay experience using what's in that engine.
Yeah.
Could you imagine making a San Francisco type map? So you're actually playing around the bridge
and someone will make
kind
a
of stuff
map.
I guarantee it. Yeah, someone will for sure. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but I do guarantee the Fortnite prop hunt will be one of the first things implemented. People,
it always is. Anytime you give people you can create your own game modes, they're like, hunt.
Yeah,
prop hunt.
To wrap everything up today, I left the best one till last. Honestly,
I've got one more thing after you.
Oh, okay, I'll make it quick then. Researchers at NASA want to send illustrations of nude humans into space in the hope of attracting aliens. But don't worry, your nudes are safe, as they will be sending out drawings of the naked form along with a depiction of our DNA. And to make it less threatening, the male and female figure are waving. The scientists said, this information is part of a basic expectation of any message to an extraterrestrial intelligence, as it allows recognition of our appearance, the detail of a given ETI that would no doubt be of interest to us, and relevant should further exchanges be established or we someday physically meet. The proposed message includes basic mathematical and physical concepts to establish a universal means of communication, followed by information of the biochemical composition of life on Earth, the solar system's time-stamped position in the Milky Way relative to known globular clusters, as well as digitized depictions of the solar system and Earth's surface. Naturally, like if you know about space programs, you know that this is not the first time that we've done this. Any probe that has gone out into the depths of space have had some form of this prior. I mean, the Voyager probes have had naked depictions of us and so on and so forth.
So we're not trying to build a time travel machine or a black hole generator. What we're trying to build is teleporters so we can teleport to other planets.
Well, no, what we're trying to do is
with the quantum freaking storage and shit.
We're trying to entice the aliens with our naked form. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah,
the thing is, like, we advertise that.
I wouldn't be.
But like we're sending this stuff out. It's like we look like this. Yeah, if they came here, they'd be like,
"You look nothing like that." You got clothes on. What? Where's the dangly bits? It's not here.
The fuck is that? What is that? you know.
Oh shit!
But I had to put that in there.
Thank you for the science class today, Steve.
Appreciate it.
I don't do it enough. It's too.
All right,
but anyway, yeah.
I'm going to wind the show up with a very, very, very hot topic. It's definitely not going to please a lot of you people. It's not going to please a lot of other people, but it will please some people. Glimesh in the last hour and a half has announced that the super low latency RTMP support is almost ready for early testing. Be on the lookout for the Google form tomorrow on Twitter, where you can sign up and help test the super low latency RTMP. So that's going to please a lot of you guys that restream or try to restream. And it's going to upset a few people around that subject. So we're going to leave that one for another show because we're not going to entertain that because that could go on for an hour.
Honestly.
But yeah, just be on the lookout on the Twitter, guys, for that. That has been announced today.
But live news. I like live news.
If you guys want to check on the low latency RTMP, definitely sign up for that tomorrow. I think that's what was put out there. Yeah, the form will be tomorrow. It is open to anybody and everybody. It's not restricted, as is none of the Glimesh features. So if you do wish to check it out, and you've been waiting on that, well, tomorrow is your day.
I'm actually interested to see the functionality of it. Just out in the open world, I just would like to see the functionality of it. I'm not interested in the whole restreaming thing. Just like how it compares to FTL. Realistically, that's all.
Well, I mean, we're talking low latency. I mean, with Twitch, we know it's about 3 to 4 seconds. We know the YouTube. I saw someone the other day. The super low latency on YouTube was about the same as Twitch, so they're talking 3 to 4 seconds. So potentially,
could it be lower than that?
If we can get under that, I mean, it probably wouldn't feel like much of a delay. So again, like I say. No hands on us, guys. If you want to test that out, make sure you're on the Glimesh Twitter page. You find the form tomorrow, fill that out, get testing, and help shape how that plays into the future of Glimesh.
Absolutely.
So, hot off the press, as I said, that was about an hour ago, give or take. So
exciting stuff.
But yeah, as always, that is going to wrap it up for us this week for episode 15. We are going to have a special episode coming up on the 5th of June. You guys don't want to miss that one. Trust me on that. You don't want to miss it. We'll keep reminding you a bit closer to the date. And then after the 5th of June, we're taking a 2-week break and set up for season 3, where we got some more plans to come for you guys. Maybe bring back some old features, maybe bring in some new ones. But we're definitely doing some things there. So,
yes,
as I say, that'll do us for this week. We appreciate everyone for being here. Don't forget, all the socials are in the chat there. Discord, if you want to come and join, give us some insight, or you want to be on the show. Obviously, don't forget to hit the follow button here for 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Glimesh. Also, get that YouTube subscription in. Help us get to that 100 and get custom channel name. Really appreciate the support on that as well. And yeah, we will see you guys back here 7 p.m. Eastern next Sunday.
Indeed.
Take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Woo!